Boom. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Happy Saturday to you all, and welcome to another live beer review. So today we're going to be taking a look at one that's a local brewery of mine. They really don't distribute out of the States and all that kind of stuff. But, well, out of the state of Illinois. I don't really think they even distribute in general, but they have canning available at the brewery. But I want to talk about these guys because I love supporting my local breweries near me, and if there's anything I could do to kind of get the word out to help them out, I'm going to do so today. So today we're going to be taking a look at one from Elmhurst Brewing Co. I think it's a couple towns over from me. I believe Elmhurst is. But today we got their Squeeze of the Day Double IPA, which is a double IPA brewed with, I believe it's Trident, Mosaic, and Azeka hops, and then they actually add about 1,000 pounds of tangerine puree into each batch as well. So I'm pretty damn excited to try this thing out because this hop combination they used for this one is definitely interesting to say the least. So, of course, when you got the Mosaic, you got your normal kind of citrus, kind of piney, absolute fantastic hops right there. Trident is kind of a three-way love child between three different Pacific Northwest hops out there. So Trident's definitely brings off a lot of tropical fruit notes and all that kind of stuff. Azeka is going to be the interesting one in this one because Azeka already brings off citrus notes and taste flavors of tangerine as well, but Azeka has a really high little bit of a higher alpha acid content to it. So whenever you guys hear me talk about an IPA having a little bit too much of an acidity to it, to where it kind of, to me, my best kind of explanation of having a beer that has a little bit of more of an acidity to it, kind of one of those things where it feels like it's triggering acid reflux. It's weird to say, but I'm kind of curious because, of course, with it having such a decent kind of higher acidity content with the Azeka hops, and of course bringing out some that pine and tangerine qualities in there, I'm gonna curious if it's gonna be too acidic or not, but hopefully it's gonna be nice kind of balance between tropical fruit, citrus, and of course the tangerine's like a citrusy flavor, and then just bring off a nice kind of pininess along with it as well. So I'm curious if this balance is going to be pretty damn good. I'm hoping it is, just because I really like supporting these guys because they make pretty solid beers for a local brewery of mine. So so of course I want to support them when I can. So this guy is a 7.8% ABV. I mean, wow, dyslexia kicked in for a sec. Holy crap. 8.7% ABV. So definitely around that range for a nice double IPA, of course. I wouldn't say this is sessionable at all. And has only an IBU rating of 25. So you're not really going to get much of a hoppy bitterness to this one. It's definitely on the lower scale of hoppy bitterness when it comes to some of the higher ones you've seen where it's you get situations to where you're getting up to 30, 40 IBUs, or you have some of those beers that come up with 100 plus IBUs, which is a craft beer rating of bitterness practically. So let's crack this guy open and see what we get on the smell. I'm hoping a nice balance between the tangerine flavors, getting a nice kind of citrusy note in there. Of course, I want to see if this acidity is going to kind of play any kind of mark in this thing. Yeah, it definitely smells very citrus on the front. Not really getting much of a tropical fruit note on the nose. But yeah, it's definitely, I feel like it's going to be a nice kind of bitter, hoppy, nice kind of double IPA. So, of course, going to be drinking out. Got to support my boy over in Houston, Mr. New Texan Brewing Company, who sent me out a pint glass and a shirt and all that stuff after I did a bunch of his reviews. So, of course, I'm going to support him as well. Of course, if you want to go over to New Texan Brewing Company's website or just hit him up on Instagram, you could possibly buy a glass, get a shirt, or even buy some beer from him because he's a home brewer. He makes a lot of beer. So I always like supporting him because he's helped support me in the past. So let's pour this guy and see what this thing's all about. Oh yeah, definitely has a nice kind of haze to it. Really, really nice haze. You can definitely tell there's puree in this thing, that's for damn sure. I'm wondering if they added lactose in here to kind of add to a creamy mouthfeel. But look at that. Yeah, this is definitely I would definitely consider this more of a higher gravity double IPA, just with the puree and all that stuff. But yeah, definitely getting a load of citrus on there. I'm definitely getting a little bit of an acidity on the nose as well from the Azeka, which I'm hoping it doesn't take out the other flavors as well, because the acidity in the Azeka that it brings out is a little bit too high, but hopefully not. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about this one. So without further ado, let's give this guy a try. So cheers, everybody. Happy Saturday. Oh yeah, that's nice. Very, very nice. So we're out the bat. Of course, that acidity level is definitely playing some notes when it comes to getting it on the front end. So you definitely tell there's an acidity to it. So the Azeka's bringing up that like citrus acidity kind of almost, which I'm okay with, definitely. But there's a big kind of fine line between it comes to be too acidic, because I've had some IPAs to where the acidity content is pretty damn high in it, to where it's like it becomes kind of almost like at the end it just becomes a little bit too much, where it's like you feel like you're starting to get acid reflux just because of the high acidity content in it. But yeah, the loads of like citrus. This citrus in your face definitely has like almost like a spiced back end, which I think is coming with the Azeka as well, because it definitely brings notes of tangerine kind of flavors. But with the Azeka being a New Zealand derived hops, definitely brings out more flavors, just because when it's in New Zealand there's definitely environment changes and all that stuff when it comes to just the oceans nearby and just kind of all that kinds of stuff when it comes to just the location they're at. Hops are going to taste different even if they're the same kind of hops, no matter where it's grown and all that kind of stuff. So this hops could be completely different if it was grown out of New Zealand, you know what I mean? But overall, yeah, it's definitely pretty damn solid. The acidity definitely is taking place. I'm hoping it's not really to the point where it's overwhelming as of yet. Definitely has a heavier mouthfeel. Definitely has that kind of almost creamy, kind of smooth mouthfeel, which is really nice. Definitely like it kind of almost has the mouthfeel of like a milkshake IPA at some point, just because it's creamy. There's not really much of a back note of sweetness at all. This is definitely more of a bitter, kind of tart, acidic IPA. So overall, yeah, it's still pretty solid. Pretty damn solid. I was hoping to get more of a tropical fruit note in this one a little bit more, but right on the front end, just mostly like acidity, and then kind of tangerine citrusiness, along with kind of get maybe like a grapefruity citrus to kind of mix in with there, maybe like a lemon kind of thing going. But the tropical fruit notes on this one are definitely pretty low when it comes on my scale of tasting them. So let's go look here on Untapped. Of course, if you can't get your hands on this one because Elmhurst Brewing Company is a local brewery of mine and you want to kind of see what it's all about, Untapped is a really cool thing to where they show similar beers to this one, to where if you can't get over to Elmhurst and pick some up, there's they have a couple suggestions of stuff that if it's something you recognize, you might be able to pick it up. So we got one here from Gear Block Brewing called the Rambler. Let's see, which is a nice Imperial Double IPA, 7.8%. Gear Block Brewing is where they located. They're in New Jersey, Waldwick, New Jersey. Let's see, so it definitely looks like people checking in are getting more like tropical citrus. Well, not citrus, more tropical fruit notes. So I don't know if I would. They're saying there's a little bit more of a sweetness to that one, so I don't know if I'd choose that one. Oh, then we got one here from Beautiful Disaster Brewing Company, which is their Graffiti Removal Ipa from their anniversary series. Which, let's see, this one's saying it's giving notes of guava, apricot, peach, and orange creamsicle. Which, I mean, there's definitely the acidity when it comes to the citrusiness from the orange creamsicle and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know, it gets to be the point where it's as citrusy as this one. Let's see, we got Apothecary Ales has the Thor's Pestle, which, let's see, I think this is they use Norwegian yeast. I think I've talked about this one before. It's their kind of double New England IPA, which Apothecary Ales is located in North Reading, Massachusetts. And then we got one here from Willow Park Brewing Company called Arms of Angels, which is but they're using raw oats and all that stuff. Definitely Galaxy, Vic Secret, so Nelson Sauvin, and Kohatu. So, I don't know. I guess Arms of Angel might be a pretty decent one, just because they're using New Zealand kind of derived hops and all that stuff. That place is located in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, so the Arms of an Angel might be a pretty good choice, just because you're going to kind of get that more environmental similarities when it comes to the hops and all that kind of stuff. Then the last one we got here is from Penora Brewing, which is the Sunken Dreams Double IPA, which is, let's look here. It's an East Coast inspired, West Coast origin due to so they use Strata and all that kind of stuff. Citra and Idaho 7. They might bring similar citrusy notes, but you're gonna be missing that acidity from where the Azeka brings in. So, to be honest, I think the most similar to this one that I would recommend to get your hands on if you want to try something similar to this most likely would be the Arms of Angels from Willow Park Brewing. I think that would be a close second, just because those are New Zealand derived hops as well, so you may get similar kind of profiles in it, even though all hops taste different. But it's like when it comes to the environmental similarities when it comes to flavor, yeah, I think you'd get that pretty similar experience. So let's see what Untapped is say. Like it says on here, 7.8% ABV. Why do I keep on saying 7.8? Holy crap. 8.7% ABV, 25 IBUs. With only 189 ratings, this one has an average rating of 3.86 out of 5, which is pretty damn good. I would say only having that low of rating and still having that above 3.75 kind of rating on there is still pretty solid. So let's look and see if anybody on my friends list checked this one in. I don't think so. But let's see what other people had to say. So this person gave it a 3.75, another 3.75. All these are purchased at Elmhurst Brewing Company. Let's see, we got a 4.5, 4.5, 4, 3, 3.5. Let's see, we got a 4.25, 3.5, 4, 3. This person gave it a 4.5, saying tasty. So yeah, overall, give it a bunch of that 3.75, and then you're getting a good amount that are like the 4, 4.25, 4.5 kind of realm. So yeah, ratings are not bad at all. So let's start figuring out what we're going to be doing on our end. Of course, before I do that, I want to talk a little about Elmhurst Brewing Company a little bit, because it's a cool location. Very, very cool location. They only have one, because they have a outdoor beer garden during the summer, and of course they have an indoor situation where you can go there. They serve food. They have a bunch of like tasty looking burgers and all. They do burgers, all the kinds of like your normal pub fare when it comes to food. So you can get like wings and all that kind of stuff, salads, sandwiches, you name it. They have a cool kind of food menu, which I love when breweries have food menus as well, just because they can kind of take advantage of the beer that they have and use it in their cooking, which is really, really cool. But let's see if there's anything on their shop that may be cool. Let's see. So if you're in the area, you can join their EBC mug club membership, which is a $75. I believe it's for a year, but it's like, let's see, you get a plastic card with your mug number, $2 off on Tuesdays, one birthday beer, 10% off all to-go beers, 10% off all swag, hats and t-shirts, and then you get invitations to their EBC special events, including keg killer days and all that kind of stuff. So that's really cool how they take days and give them to their EBC kind of club members, and when they're getting low on a keg, they just bring all their members in. It's like, let's kill the keg, which is a nice kind of fun way to get people together. But let's start figuring out what we're going to be doing for ratings on this guy. So let me pour a little bit more in there. Actually, we pour the rest. Yeah, there we go. Take a little drink, because why not? And let's look at can art. Yeah, Elmhurst has a really kind of similar can art when it comes to all their beers practically. It's pretty like into the realm where have a color on the top, like the framing, they have a specific color, and then they have like some, almost like it's a pencil drawing, like colored pencil kind of drawing art in the center. Then you have name of the beer, ABV, all that kind of stuff. But this one's nice. It's definitely more of a clean and classy kind of label, which I can appreciate. I kind of like that almost like diarrhea puke green they use for this one. I don't know. It's more, I don't want to say like puke green. I definitely consider it more in like the military kind of green, almost, I guess you could say. I don't want to do them dirty by saying it looks like diarrhea in a can. But yeah, definitely has that military green kind of style. I really like that they use tangerines to brew with this one, like actually using fruit puree to make a nice double IPA. I think you're seeing it happen a lot when it comes to people adding different notes into it. But I'd like to see it happen a little bit more, just because it's a fun little thing to play around with. Adds gravity to your beer, adds more of a natural kind of flavor when it comes to the flavor notes you're trying to get off the hops, to where like they use the Azaka one, who has pretty predominant notes of tangerine itself. So they added a hops that brings off tangerine flavors, and because olive green, Ian. Yeah, I'll be more generous and say olive green. But yeah, overall this beer is pretty damn solid. In my opinion, I would have done a little bit less on the Azaka, just because I feel like you're already adding the tangerine puree in there, and I would have liked to see a little bit more of the Trident kind of come out a little bit more. So like, in my opinion, I would have lowered the amounts of the Azaka hops you put in there, just because you're already using the tangerine puree. You're already using, what is it? They say over 1,000 pounds of tangerines to make this juicy IPA. So you're still using a butt soup green. Yeah, you're still using a very, very predominant amount of tangerine puree in it, to where you don't need to add that extra acidity when it comes to, or just add that extra tangerine flavor with the Azaka. I feel like they could have toned down the Azaka a little bit more, take away a little bit of the acidity, and let that kind of natural like citrusiness of the tangerines come out more, and maybe let the Trident hops speak a little bit more, because you may have gotten a little bit more of those fruity notes, maybe given more of like a tropical fruit blend kind of feel. So, but definitely having that like hop forward thing is really nice to it. So, let's see. Okay, can art. I think I'm going to give my rating for can art on that one a 3.75 out of 5. It's not really anything that like speaks to me. If I saw it at a liquor store or bottle shop, I'd definitely, if I saw anything from Elmhurst Brewing Company at a liquor store or bottle shop, I'd go take a look at it and see what it is, just because I like their beers and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, this is nothing that really like speaks to me when it comes to, oh, it's going to catch my attention all the way across from a bottle shop or not. So overall, yeah, can art's really nice. It's very classy. But you guys know by now that I kind of like a little bit more detail in my stuff. So let's see. If I got this beer in a flight at Elmhurst Brewing Company, would I get another one? To be honest, like I said, it's good. But my gripe about this thing is the acidity level in it. Just because it's a little bit too much at times. Once it starts getting to the point where it's starting to get room temperature as you're drinking it, the acidity is going to go up a little bit more, just because you start to notice that with a lot of milkshake IPAs, where the more it becomes room temperature, the more of an acidity level you get to it. It's weird. But like I would probably, like I said, put a little bit less of the Azaka in there and kind of put a little bit more of the Trident or the Mosaic, just to kind of let those flavors kind of thrive a little bit more and let that acidity kind of go down. Because when you're adding the Azaka, you're kind of trying to balance out having too much acidity in it, even though it's still bringing tangerine flavors, even though you added 1,000 pounds of tangerines to each batch. But overall, yeah, it's still pretty solid. I definitely enjoy this one. So, but most likely I wouldn't get another one of these if I got it in a flight. I'd probably go for something else, maybe like more of just your average New England IPA, or if they had a stout available, I would try one of their stouts. But they have some fruit sours over there that I would love to try as well. So, overall, let's see. I think I'm going to give this one like a 6.75, almost a 7 out of 10 for me. I think I'm going to stick it at a 7 out of 10. Pretty damn good. But other than that, yeah, I think that's pretty much all there is to say about this one. It's still solid, but I would have liked to see that acidity kind of be a little bit lower, in my opinion. But overall, it is what it is. Everybody's flavor profiles and how they taste things is different. So that is pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you everybody in chat for hanging out. You guys are amazing. If you haven't already, please hit that like button. It would help me out a lot. And if you're ever in the northwest suburbs or Illinois area and you want to go check out Elmhurst Brewing Company, go ahead. And it's a fantastic place. You can get some food, get some beers. It's a really, really fun location. So I would always recommend, if you're looking for new breweries, if you're in the Chicagoland area, Elmhurst would definitely be one that I'd put on the list of ones you should try. But other than that, last but not least, before we get the hell out of here, if you're a craft beer drinker and you enjoy drinking craft beer, if it's like a hobby of yours, big thing I'm going to recommend, always get yourself onto Untapped. It's a great platform. It's available on Android, iPhone, or desktop if you use your computer all the time. You can check in beers, get badges, get like a bunch of coupon codes for different services when it comes to craft beer itself. It's just a really, really fun time over there. You can see people like me, Ian, Wintucky's over there, Kevin's over there, Lee, Not the Real Gerard Butler's over there, Duchess, Logan. Just a bunch of us are over on Untapped checking in beers and just having a good time over there, seeing what other people's drinking. You can also see what's popular in your area, what's popular globally at the time, to see what's trending and all that kind of stuff. So overall, yeah, that's pretty much what I have to say about that. So I'm going to say what I usually say before we get the hell out of here. So hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your Saturday. And I'm going to say it like I always say it. If you're going to drink responsibly. Don't drink and drive. And I'll see y'all next time. Cheers.